So let's say you found a skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dapper Reacts number something or other. I am here with Kip Davis, who has questions about geography for some weird reason.
Do.
Kip, what are your questions about geography?
Uh-oh. My that's why. Okay, sorry. My earbuds are still connected to my phone.
Oh, that's not ideal.
And you know, when my phone rings, no, it's not. When my phone rings, it just cuts off all the everything else. So
oh my.
Yeah, so I just stopped hearing things for a moment, but I'm good now.
Okay. Do you still have questions about geography?
I do. So like Phoenix is it's like in a valley and it's surrounded by mountains.
Mhm.
I had this conversation actually with a friend of your channel, one of my supporters, patrons, channel members as well. Katie, who runs Nerd Church,
yes,
was telling me about Phoenix, how it's like in this valley and it's surrounded by mountains. It's like ringed by mountains, and people, she said, before the invention of air conditioning, didn't actually live there full time. Most people would go to the mountains when it got too hot, which it is now.
Right.
Is it so? But you live not in Phoenix.
Correct. I live in Tucson.
Yes. So
which is south of Phoenix.
South of Phoenix. So is it similar in terms of?
It is somewhat similar. It is higher elevation, and also it's not quite as much urban sprawl as Phoenix, so it is usually a little bit cooler in Tucson, even though it's farther south.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
we usually have a few degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 1 or 2 Celsius. Cooler.
Cooler. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Not a big difference.
I cut my looks like I missed a spot there.
Uh-oh.
I better go back and get that. So, but I cut my own hair this morning. I feel like I did a pretty good job of it today. The hardest part is getting the back, because it's like you're in the mirror and you have like another mirror and your clippers and it's a whole thing. But I was pretty pleased with how straight I got the line today. Nice. It doesn't always look that straight when I do it. So every now and then, like once every month or 6 weeks, I'll actually go to the barber to get it, properly done. But I because I'm cheap and it feels like this is something I should be able to do myself. I just buzz the sides and the back on my own. So yeah.
All right. Well, we do have a super chat that came in before the show started that we need to read. Ben Thick Tunicate the Mythicipist for £50 says AIG are a UK political party whose leader accepts a £5 million reward for his work on Brexit. I mean security. I mean gift. Source, trust me, bro, none of your business. Who has forced a by-election where his main opponent is a space alien called Count Binface. Yeah, that sure is a thing that happened, and it is very bizarre. And I'll take a drink, thank you. Yeah, Nigel Farage is currently facing a by-election because he stepped down as a member of parliament, and then the by-election he announced his candidacy, and apparently the only other candidate is Count Binface. So it's going to be Nigel Farage versus Count Binface on the ballot in his constituency.
So great.
Yeah, wow. And this is all to avoid a investigation over him potentially having taken a £5 million bribe. So
I heard about the £5 million bribe, but I've also heard too that this is a crucial election too, because this one county where he's, oh no, that's somebody else. Never mind. That's the mayor of Manchester I'm thinking of. Carry on.
There's a lot of elected officials, it turns out, over in Great Britain. Just
A
all over
bunch.
the place. Yeah,
Yes,
many.
they're all over. So yeah.
So yeah,
I noticed you started a poll.
Oh, sorry, I did start a poll. Yes. Yeah, the poll is: are you surprised that Kip cuts his own hair?
To be fair, the only part of my hair that I ever cut is the underside. I don't ever cut any of this stuff. At least not on purpose. Sometimes I accidentally cut some of that stuff when I'm doing the undercut. So
I 100% totally and unironically believe you, and I don't know why anyone would say that I might be not truthful about why I state that, because I would never lie about that. And actually, the fact that you keep bringing it up is a little weird.
My hair?
No, you think I'm lying about this.
What do I think you're lying about?
Don't worry about it anymore, Kip. All right. So
what? No, I have yet to accuse you of lying today. I know I do
today.
I have yet to do it today.
That's fair. I believe that is true. That does seem to be true, that you have yet to do it today. All right. So I will say that I am counting
a fair amount.
I don't think that's true.
You constantly lie about about my writing and publishing activities.
Look, I have it on the authority of a professional Egyptologist, a well-renowned professional Egyptologist, that you've written no books. And since you've written no books, and I believe he has, I believe him over you.
I'm pretty sure it was not an Egyptologist, and it was actually a YouTuber by the name of the Gnostic Informant that you're thinking of.
Well, in that case, it might be my memory that's lying to me.
That's right, dude.
You dropped it right there, right at the beginning. You wasted it. All right, let's talk about the super chat goal. So the super chat goal is actually, we're going to assume that it's one higher than it actually is, because that 50-pound super chat came through before I set it up. So I don't want Ben Thick Tunicat's 50-pound super chat to not count, because that seems unfair, because that's a hefty super chat. Yeah, so it's definitely going to count.
It should totally count.
And if we get there, we will unleash Kip, so he will be able to drop more F-bombs, like the one he just dropped.
Perfect.
And the ironic thing is he slightly cut out during it, so it didn't even come through as a full F-bomb.
It shouldn't count then. Not at all should it count.
Well, when you have an F-bomb rule on your channel, we will you can account for that. This is my channel, where it does count.
It feels like you make up the rules as you go sometimes. I'm just saying.
Yes, this channel is what we call an absolute monarchy and not a democracy, Kip. You can think of this channel is like Saudi Arabia or North Korea.
Yeah, but probably even more arbitrary in the dispensation of law.
Well, that comes down to who the monarch is. So, maybe, yeah. Yeah. In fact, I have more power than the king of Babylon would have, because he was generally bound by the laws that he said and couldn't just willy-nilly reverse them.
Couldn't do that. No.
So, yeah. If we get that, yes, not only will Kip be unleashed, if people want, I can still do another reading from English as She Has Spoke, if I can figure out where the heck I put it. And also, I will do an extra stream over on Top Hats Off, because I don't know, I feel like it might be fun to do a stream on Top Hats Off. We have 2 more super chats. Metageeky, the Platypus Librarian, for $2 says, Kip does mow a curse tablet into his chest hair. Ah, well, that's interesting. I mean,
actually,
you don't? So Metageeky is lying to me?
Yes, probably. Because it's impossible for me to do that. Because I literally have no chest hair, or the little bit. It's just little. Probably.
What I just heard is that Kip is a low T soy boy.
That's exactly it. Yes. And I wear that badge proudly.
That's good. I mean, I do have.
It also ensures that I have no back hair either.
Ah.
And I think as somebody with like no chest or back hair, that I enjoy um, a a less inconvenient existence, because I would be uh I'd probably be, hotter, like temperature all the time. And I would feel the urgency to try and shave that shit, or wax even. But I don't have to do that. So,
Although it does make you colder in the winters over there in Canada.
it's easier to be colder than it is. It is easier to be cold than it is to be hot, because you can just, throw clothes on, or blankets, or grab another warm body. When you're hot, I mean, there's not much you can do. You're
Ice.
stuck.
You just get ice.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's I don't. That isn't. You can't do, like, you can a certain. You need a fucked. You need a lot of.
All right, cut off for now. We got to finish these super chats. My unfinished sock for $2 says, "Don't take a 5 million pound bribe. Like and share the stream," with a winky tongue out emoji face. And Victoria Macarios for €2 says, "Will it be a Blender stream?" So I was thinking that it would at least be start out as a Blender stream, and I'll do some stuff because I have some like art stuff that I need to get done. And then maybe if like I get tired of doing that, maybe I'll just do a little bit of game stuff at the end. I don't know. Probably some kind of art stream at the very least, though. That's what most of the streams on there are that aren't like TTRPG actual play. So yeah. All right. So
I'd like to point out, Petite Flowers 5259 says that swimming is a thing. I assume in response to my complaints about being hot. But this only works if you have access to a sufficiently sizable enough clean body of water in order to swim in. And I mean, that's just not always the case.
If you live in Canada, it's like made of lakes.
Yeah, but I also don't. True, but I'm thinking of places where I would be too hot. One of the reasons I live here and am happy about it is that I never get too hot. But, under the presumption that I would, and the back hair and the chest hair would make me even hotter, this just would not work.
Let's see. Narond Blitz for $2 says, "I cast sending. Let's unleash Kip." That does seem like a reasonable thing to do. And then the Screen Geek for €5 says, "Stepping in briefly to contribute to the super chat goal. I'm at a wedding and I hate weddings, but the food is good. We'll catch up tomorrow. Heart. See ya."
Ooh.
Well, see ya, Screen Geek. I hope that you have fun at the wedding, even if it's not your jam.
I like good food at weddings. That's a thing that I like.
The last wedding I was at, the groom came down to the aisle to a piano arrangement of the Star Wars theme. Nice. So that was not expected, but I appreciated it. So,
I actually do not believe I've been to a wedding, in maybe 20 years, 25 years. It's been a very long time, because I went through this phase, right, where all my friends were getting married, and cousins and shit, and then there's like this huge dry spell where nobody in my life was getting married. But now that my friends have kids who are of a marriageable age, and I guess I have kids of a marriageable age, maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll get the opportunity to attend some weddings again.
Okay.
So
you could just crash some weddings. Just show up.
How do you find a wedding? How do you do that?
I mean, check church schedules, probably. See when they're going to have a wedding.
Just, on their, do they publish those? Like on the website?
I think if it's a church, if it's like a couple that's like, at least one of them is part of the church, then it usually goes on like church calendars and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you could pick a church based on like you could pick one of those like ethnically focused churches so that you could figure out which kind of food you want to eat at the reception. He's like, "Oh, you know what? I want some Greek food." So you go find like a Greek church or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Tell you what, Easter at a Greek church, sure, breakfast is served at like 3 a.m. It's really, really good. So, if you're up at 3 a.m. on Greek Easter, show up at a church.
If there was free food involved, I might be.
I mean,
I don't think I can under express how much I love free food. So it's like one of my favorite things ever.
Well, go to Easter at a Greek church. There's always a meal afterwards.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of church, this guy is at a church, and he seems to be preaching a sermon about evolution. And it seems to be like his second sermon, because I accidentally downloaded the first one. And we watched through some of it until I realized this is the wrong one. Let's see.
Now we're on the right one.
Yes, we are. We're about halfway through the right one.
We're looking at this terrifying picture.
Yes. 42CRMO4 Not a Robot X5, who's been a member for 5 months, says visit your local archaeological museum with a Godzilla. That is also a lot of fun. There are a fair few really cool archaeology museums in Arizona that I've been to, and they were a lot of fun, including one that was archaeology/paleontology. So that was really cool. Dutch Tunicate Official for $2 says there are 0 lakes in all of Minnesota, Godzilla, and I feel like that's not true. Because of
that seems inaccurate to me as well.
Yes.
They're just frozen most of the time.
Well, yeah, like 8 months of the year or something.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so this talk is supposed to be about baraminology, and we are here being presented with the Dinosauroid, which is a speculative evolution creature that pretty much every paleontologist looked at and was like, "This is dumb." But
what?
It did make its way into a few kids' books, so apparently now we're going to talk about it.
Is he, because I doubt he's going to give me any adequate background information, but I mean, where, who, and why did this, why did this monstrosity ever enter someone's imagination as a thing?
A paleontologist had a thought experiment of what would have happened if dinosaurs had not gone extinct. Maybe they would have evolved into humanoid sapient people that look like that.
All right.
Even though they almost certainly would not have.
Yeah, right. Because it seems like I don't know. That just, it doesn't, the little bits that I know about our evolutionary history, this feels just wildly.
It is.
Inaccurate.
So the thing is, if you look at corvids, most species of corvids are similar to like non-human apes in levels of terms of like ability to use tools, to plan, to learn things quickly, to interact with their environment using their brains, cooperate with each other, that kind of stuff, right? So in corvids, you are right now looking at something that is not super that far away from humans in terms of intelligence. Like, just like a chimpanzee isn't super far away. And so they don't look like apes at all. So chances are that if a dinosaur evolved to be sapient, it would look as much like an ape as a crow does, which is to say, not really at all in any particular way. And in fact, people have, since this came out, come up with alternate speculative evolution sapient dinosaurs based on actually keeping the dinosaurs looking like a dinosaur instead of just contorting them into an ape, which seems extremely unlikely. And so we do actually have more reasonable speculative evolution about sapient dinosaurs. But My Unfinished Journey, who's been a member for 40 months, says, hail Daps and Kif, and hail covering the right sermon with the fist emoji, and absolutely. And then Josh McGee's for $5 says, I would still prefer this sermon to be about theraminology. Theramins are cool. You know what a theremin is, Kip?
No.
Theremin is an electrical musical instrument where there is a little volume on the inside, and there is a potential through there. And when you put your hand in it, it will interrupt that and give it a different pitch based on where you place your hand. And it's that sort of electrical instrument that you hear a lot in like 50s sci-fi that's always making those haunting woo two types noises.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a
It's an
theremin.
electrical.
Yep.
It's an electric instrument.
It's the only instrument I know of that you
know.
play without touching it. You're not supposed to touch it when you play.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And
Theremin's
very
very cool.
curious. So I'm frustrated because I lost, I couldn't see the poll anymore. So then I refreshed my chat window and it came back. And then I was trying to minimize it again and it was not
There.
working.
I'll just complete it for you.
So
Are you surprised that Kip cuts his own hair? No, 60%. Hurdle, 23%. Yes, 17%. Poll complete with
See,
65
problem.
votes.
I did not mean to. It's not fair. I did not mean to vote in the poll, but I accidentally voted in the poll.
It's only one vote out of 65. I don't think it would have changed it that much.
No, but it probably would have prompted the Republicans to complain about voter fraud.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Right. So I feel terrible.
Luckily, this is not a democracy. This is an absolute monarchy, and I'm the monarch, and I say it's okay for Canadians to vote in my polls.
I'm pretty excited about the fact that 60% of you are not surprised that I do my own undercuts.
All right. So let's hear what this guy has to say about the Dinosauroid, and we'll continue on from there.
Awesome.
The next thing we see here, or dinosaurs tend to turn into birds. Here's another example.
Wait,
in the
what did he mumble there? What did he?
Something about dinosaurs turning into birds. Yeah, he doesn't like that for reasons that basically come down to he doesn't like evolution.
Yes.
80s, there was a paleontologist named Dale Russell, and he proposed this hypothesis that if the dinosaurs hadn't become extinct, one of the largest brain dinosaurs, known as the Troodon, that had grasping claws and was bipedal, walking on 2 feet, they would have developed into a human-like animal that he called the Dinosauroid. And he said instead of us...
I'm guessing that the fact that what's it called? What did he call it? The dinosaur that
the Dinosauroid?
Yeah, but the actual species of big brained
Troodon?
bipedal. The Troodon.
Yes.
I'm guessing. Did he sort of focus on this one because it was already bipedal?
No, he mostly focused on it because it had a large brain for its body size. Bipedalism in dinosaurs is pretty common, just like it is today. So
yeah, right.
Yep.
And I mean, importantly, we're mammals, who were like almost all tetrapods, right? Like, or quadrupedal.
Quadrupedal would be more accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bipedal mammals are like humans, gibbons, kind of lemurs sometimes, even though they kind of more like hop like kangaroos than they do walk like humans. Kangaroos are kind of bipedal. Yeah, kangaroos are mammals.
Oh, okay. Really? So marsupials are they're a type of mammal.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So are monotremes like the echidna and the platypus.
All right. Nice. So but yeah, it just feels like he's, by making this point, he just doesn't understand anything. Am I correct in that observation?
Well, so far he hasn't actually made a point, so I
feel like he's drawing attention to the bipedality of
yeah, but he hasn't made a point about it yet. And he's not wrong that Troodon is bipedal. Antwerpen in I'm sorry. Victoria Macarios for €2 says Antwerpen in Moshe sind eine Tute voller Glider. I don't do German very well. Kip, you got anything? But I will take a drink for it though.
Where is?
So I'm pretty sure Antwerpen in Moshe sind eine Tute voller Glider. I don't know. I don't know what that vowel was there. I don't know what any of the vowels are technically. We'll take a drink for it. All right. So another thing that I really, really, really dislike about the Dinosauroid is its stance with its heels on the ground. The reason that happens a lot in mammals is because that's actually like the basal condition for mammals. Our earliest mammals are all plantigrade like that, rather than digitigrade like your dog or your cat. And primates are all plantigrade. And so humans, being primates, are plantigrade. But like going the reverse does not happen a whole lot in the history of evolution, going from digitigrade to plantigrade. Not a very common thing to do. And Troodon was very much digitigrade. So anything that evolved from it would probably stay digitigrade. So yeah.
Us scrolling on our phones and going to the moon and building the.
Just, I mean, I got parts of it, but I didn't get all of it. And it's actually and I think that was throwing me off. It's supposed to be Answers in Genesis is a bag of dicks.
Yes.
But it's I think the Mose was throwing me off, where it's like actually Answers in Moses are a bag of dicks. So yeah.
Oh, apparently it's Glida is more or less, because I'm getting that vowel is E. Okay.
Skyscrapers, it would have been the Dinosauroids. There was a guy named Rupert Matthews that even put this into children's books in the 1980s, or I think this was in the 1990s.
It was, in fact, in the 1990s, because I had that children's book.
Oh, for real? You had the children's book with the Dinosauroid
with
in it?
All these images that he has on screen? Yep.
Holy smokes. Wow, that's fun.
Yeah. Even as a kid, though, I was like, this seems really weird and unlikely, but whatever, it looks cool.
You know what this is?
Robin Webster just typed my name in the chat. I'm not entirely sure why. But hi.
We good?
Yeah.
Okay. Sapphire Plushie Sorcerer's Light, for $2 says, name your favorite non-reptile, non-mammal amniote. Koolasuchus. Rock? Okay. That's not even an amniote. Oh wait, you said amniote. Oh, so I have to go non-reptile, non-mammal amniote. Jeez. So
carrot.
Parrots are reptiles.
I said carrot.
Carrots aren't amniotes. I'm gonna go with Gorgonops.
Science fiction.
I'm sticking with carrot.
All right, I have to rewind a little bit now.
Sorry.
Matthews that even put this into children's books in the 1980s, or I think this was in the 1990s. You know what this is? Pure science fiction.
Oh, gotta rewind.
It must have been the 1980s, because I mean, it was a children's book that you had. Well, as a child, did you have it as a child?
I mean, not super young, but then again, I'm also 150 million years old, so like whatever.
Sure, but you had a very extended childhood.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was the 90s.
Millions of years.
I mean, clearly this is not a book for 4-year-olds, right? Like this is a book for like tweens.
Sure. Yes. Okay.
Matthews that even put this into children's books in the 1980s, or I think this was in the 1990s. You know what this is? Pure science fiction, peddled as truth.
Okay,
is it peddled as truth?
That's the thing, though. No, right? No more than any other science fiction is, which is to say, here's a thing that maybe could happen or could have happened in an alternate history. It's like saying that like people are telling you that the man in the high castle is being peddled as truth because what? It's an alternate history. It's not true. No one thinks it's true. It's just,
No, go ahead, finish.
It's just, hey, a what if a scenario. And you can say, I don't think the what if scenario is realistic. And guess what? There's a whole cottage industry of people telling you that alternate history scenarios are unrealistic. Who cares?
No, nobody should care. I'm presently watching an alternate history series. I really, really liked For All Mankind on Apple TV, which is the alternate history series about the U.S. space program, if in fact the Russians had won the space race. But now they just released a new one called Star City, which is all about the Russian space program. If they
Interesting.
won the space race. And that's cool on two levels, because as far as I'm aware, there's not much fiction about the Russian space program in the first place.
I've
Like
seen a
on
little bit.
television. Okay. But then also it's just a cool premise. So
Here's one fiction about the Russian space program that I will recommend. There's a movie called Sputnik. It is a Russian movie. And
oh right.
so Vishanti and I were just like looking for we were literally on a kick of just like, let's just look for some trash horror movie and we'll just watch it and that'll be fun. Like we're not looking for anything great or anything. So we're like, oh hey, this is on, I don't remember if it was on like Amazon Prime or Shudder or whatever. We're like, Sputnik, it's a Russian film, and it's a sci-fi horror movie. And we're like, okay, sure. We watched it, we're like, this is actually really, really good. Like we were not expecting to actually find a really good movie as just like the random, like bargain bin foreign film. I don't think it's super old. I think it was in like the 2010s that it was made. It's set around the time that Sputnik was launched. So
oh, listen. So DM Wing, I know, I'm aware. I was trying. I meant to, and it didn't come out. Make the point that I'm speaking about like English fiction. So of course, but and it's not like I have a ton of access to Russian fiction in the first place. But I did like. Have you watched all of The Man in the High Castle?
I have not, so no spoilers because I might still do that.
Yeah, okay. Because I was going to ask, all I've seen is the first season and a couple of episodes of season 2, and then I thought it got really weird. And
it did get really weird.
It kind of lost interest. Is it worth my? And I'll ask the chat. Is it worth my time to finish watching Man in the High Castle? Please let me know if that's a thing I should do.
My Infinite Journey for $5 says, so were the Sleestacks of Land of the Lost fame inspired by the Dinosauroids? I don't actually know the answer to that question. I wouldn't be surprised if they took some inspiration, but also like, what if humanoid but dinosaur is not the craziest thing to come up with? In fact, the thumbnail for this video has a different humanoid dinosaur, this one from Star Trek, which is a Voth, because Star Trek also has a species of humanoid dinosaur from Earth that went off into space to avoid the asteroid that was coming at the Earth. So they launched themselves into space and ended up somehow in the Delta Quadrant. So, yeah. All right.
And yet, that's what your taxpayer dollars go for.
Okay. Some guy who wrote a kid's book, I'm pretty sure he didn't get taxpayer funding. This is a guy who wrote books about dinosaurs for children for profit.
Yeah, right.
I don't think he got a government grant for that. I'm taking a drink. This is what your tax money is paying for. Some guy's kid's book about dinosaurs. Nope. It turns out that there is enough demand for kids' books about dinosaurs that publishers will actually just publish them and pay you to publish them, or pay you for them to be published. And then they get published. And that's just what happens.
So, there's a few people who have pointed out that the Russians probably also did win the Soviets. Sorry, probably also did win the space race. But DM Wing points out, the Soviets did a lot of space stuff before the U.S. Sometimes well, sometimes half-assed in order to beat the U.S. and probably on like a shoestring budget compared to what the U.S. was working with too. But one of the things that's really interesting about Star City, and mind you, I'm only 2 episodes in, but it really does emphasize this point about how little the Soviets had to work with in terms of their space program, and how much things tended to go wrong as a result of the fact that this switch that they were forced to use because of budgets and just trying to do everything on the cheap just made everything like monumentally more dangerous. So it's It's very cool. The other thing it does is like it really hones in on this theme of working and existing within a very austerely strict police state. It's very cool. I commend it. I recommend it. So I've got a little bit of time to kill over the weekend, so I'm probably going to watch a few more episodes.
Paleontologists like that being able to publish papers and suggest those things.
This was not a paper. This was basically an art project and a kid's book, dude. What are you talking about? And no paleontologist took it seriously. Look, man, if I got to say that basically his argument is paleontology and evolutionary biology is silly because a paleontologist did a silly art project once. Okay, buddy. Yeah. Do you know how many silly Christian art projects there have been over the millennia? Do you really want to make that argument? You really think that's a good argument to go with? Is your ideas produced silly art project, therefore your ideas are wrong. Guess who's going to lose that fight when it comes to your version of Christianity versus freaking evolution, my guy?
Well, yes. Oh, indeed.
Do we have to point to the quote unquote restored Jesus painting in Spain that looks like a monkey now? Like a non-human monkey?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like every once in a while, not every once in a while, almost all the time.
That wasn't I guess you could say that was an art project. It was a sort of an art project.
Yeah. Some old lady was like, "Oh, I should fix up this painting." And it went really poorly.
Really bad.
But like almost every creationist I cover at some point comes up with an argument where I'm like, you can't actually think that that's a good argument, because if I reversed that, if I played an Uno reverse, holy crap, would creationism or Christianity as a whole come out the worse in that competition? Mm-hmm. So creationists, if you ever watch this, which you probably won't, but that's okay. Here's my request to you. Please take your argument and come up with a version of that against Christianity. And if you think it's a bad argument against Christianity, don't use it against other ideas. Right? Mm-hmm. Don't use it against Islam. Don't use it against science. Don't use it against atheism. There you go. So if your argument is some guy made a dumb art project, well, guess what? There have been a lot of dumb Christian art projects throughout the years. There have been also a lot of really cool Christian art projects, right? So like, you know, but also there have been a whole lot of really cool evolution art projects.
As in all things, with art projects, we take the good with the bad, you know, and make our judgments accordingly.
This is dumb enough. I'm taking a drink for it.
Okay, I'd like to point out that Macbeth is my favorite Shakespeare play. Also, I've been watching the chat here, and based on what the chat is saying, it sort of sounds like maybe it's not worth my time to finish Man in the High Castle. I've seen a lot of people say that they also just ducked out right in the middle of season 2. So, yeah.
You know, Kip, I have a copy of Hamlet, which of course is my favorite Shakespeare play.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the original Klingon version of Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
I was aware that's what that was the original Klingon of something.
Hamlet,
sorry,
Prince of Denmark.
The made up Klingon of, you know, something that they. How does that even work in the Star Trek universe for the Klingons to claim that Shakespeare was originally written in Klingon?
So one, it was a propaganda claim made basically during the extended Cold War period between the Federation and the Klingons. Okay. And they just said that that basically Federation scholars had taken the famous works of the Klingon poet, and they gave some Klingonized version of Shakespeare, and then just translated them into Federation standard in inferior versions.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. Yeah. That makes total sense then.
Yeah.
But they must have really liked the Klingons must have really liked Shakespeare then too.
Overall, but also you got to remember that when this came into the Star Trek canon as a thing that the Klingons were claiming, the Klingons were still almost a direct stand-in for the Soviet Union, who made
Of
silly
course.
propaganda
Yes.
claims.
Yes.
And so this
That
comes
was,
in a movie when
It's
basically
the undiscovered country, right?
yeah, it's in the undiscovered
When
country.
it was first introduced. Yeah.
And so that
It's a great
itself
movie,
is
by
a
the way.
movie about the fall of the Soviet Union and various formerly Soviet republics
Yes.
requesting aid from the West to help rebuild.
Yes.
So you have to
It was really
understand
good.
that little joke in the context of the Klingons as a stand-in
Right.
for the late stage Soviet Union as it's collapsing.
Fair. That's fair.
So, Inquisitive Infidel for $5 says, "You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life." And I forgot to sing it. I'm sorry. I didn't realize until about halfway through that it was the theme song for the facts of life. My bad. Also, I want to say we have 107 people watching, but only 44 of you have hit like, which means that I, unfortunately, like less than half of you, half as well as you deserve. So hit that like button so you don't get Bilbo'd again.
If I just have the chat window open and not the video, am I being counted as a viewer, a live viewer?
I don't know.
Okay. Because I also did not like the stream.
How dare?
Well, I'm not watching it, am I?
Kind of. I'm going to hit play.
And they often say, well, you're the ones that you Christians, you rely on faith and not science.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
a lot of times, yes. I
don't want to say that
it's right there in the text too.
I don't want to say that Christians don't rely on science, right? Because there are a lot of people who are great scientists who are also Christians, and also a lot of Christians who don't go around denying science. But if we're going to go with the framing that he obviously wants to go with of science versus Christianity, which is a weird framing if you're a Christian to me, seems weird. But if that's the framing you want to go with, then yes, that is literally what happens. Because while I don't want to get into like the discussion of like, does the New Testament suggest that works are vital, or is it faith alone? Because, I'm not Martin Luther or the Catholic Church or any of those other people. It absolutely does say that faith is an important part. And I'm pretty sure every Christian group seems to agree with that, except maybe the Unitarian Universalists, depending on whether or not you want to count them as Christians. So
as someone who masquerades sometimes as a New Testament scholar and even occasionally a theologian, I should like to point out that, in the first place, because the problem here is the fact that the source text is the Bible, and the Bible says a whole bunch of things that are often contradictory, because it's just that kind of a book. It was never intended to be a comprehensive manual for doing everything. It just was never meant to be that thing. So as a result, it's just going to say different things all the time. But this narrative, I will say this narrative of doing everything through faith, as opposed to relying on your senses and on your observations of the natural world, is absolutely something that you can extract from the texts.
Yeah,
it certainly is.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you now, who are the ones relying on faith?
Well, given that no one, and I mean no one, including its creator, thinks that the Dinosauroid either existed, or must exist, given an alternate history scenario, I'm going to have to go ahead and say that in this circumstance, there's no faith on anyone's part. There's just a guy with an imagination and another guy who liked that imaginative thing and put it in a kid's book. That's not anyone having faith in anything. Unless you want to say that everyone who's like in a fandom now has faith in the thing that they're a fan of. But like, I don't think that everyone who's going around like cosplaying as Star Wars characters at a comic convention believes in the reality of the Force. I don't think that's how that works. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If you do cosplay as a Star Wars character, let me know. Do you actually believe that the Force is real?
So, it sort of feels like this bears mentioning again. I think this was brought up in another one of the streams that we did. Oh shoot, I have to cough. Rats, sorry.
Poor kid.
Yeah. So this came up in another one of these streams covering this guy. Just how much within certain circles of Christianity, some people are just really afraid of the powers of our imaginations, or they just really, really hate it.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of leaning into this a bit here again. Imagination's bad. We should just, shut it off, guys.
Yeah, you actually get that a lot from
No good can come from it.
Matt Powell, who complains about like atheists with like anime posters in their room, and it's like, I'm sorry, do you just hate fun, Matt? Is that what's happening? Do you think that someone's arguments become less serious because there's like a Bleach poster in the background or a One Piece poster, or like they have a little like figurine of like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, Stephen G. Clinner for $5 says, don't you have faith of the heart? In fact, we have so much faith of the heart that after the show, we're going to be watching episodes 1 and 2 of season 3 of Star Trek Enterprise. So come hang out in the Discord if you can.
And
What
not
is faith
science.
of
But
the
should we
heart?
be surprised? 2 Timothy 3:13 says, but evil men and impostors will proceed from bad to worse, deceiving and being deceived.
No one is being deceived by a hypothetical alternate history dinosaur, my guy. What are you talking about? What do you think is happening? I honestly do not understand what in his brain he thinks the Dinosauroid is. Because it's very
Why did he
obviously an
do-
alternate history speculative thing that no one takes seriously.
Why did he choose to read the texts in
Backwards?
this order? Yeah.
Yeah,
I sorry, I have to look this up.
Okay.
2 Timothy 3. But yeah, it's curious to me when people do this. This is like this is very much a Michael Jones moment of whom I'm accustomed to.
Why are you Frankensteining the
Frequently.
text?
Yeah, and just depending on fragments of statements in order to make a point. So let's look, shall we, at 2 Timothy chapter 3. You must understand.
All right, everybody,
this,
open
that
your
in the-
Bibles.
Yes.
You got to
2
give
Timothy
everyone just a
chapter 3.
second to open their Bibles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will be reading from the New Revised Standard Version.
Updated edition?
No.
Ah.
This is the older version. Sorry. I mean, I guess I could, but this is what
Just
I have
read it, it's
open
fine.
on my okay.
I'll let it
You
pass.
must understand this, that in the last days distressing times will come, for people will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents,
Ooh.
ungrateful, unholy, inhuman, implacable, slanderers, profligates, brutes, haters of good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, holding out the outward form of godliness but denying its power. Avoid them! For among them are those who make their way into households to captivate silly women, overwhelmed by their sins and swayed by all kinds of desires. Women be women. They're just...
Well, to be fair, only the silly women, right? If you're a very serious woman, then you're fine.
That's true. Yes. Swayed by all kinds of desires, who are always being instructed and can never arrive at a knowledge of the truth. So, and that's...
I feel like this chapter would be very hard to apply to some random ass paleontologist who made a funny speculative dinosaur if you didn't cut it out into tiny little pieces that you then rearranged. I feel like that's what's going on there. Like, do you really think that this paleontologist is out there denying all good and like tricking silly women in their houses? Because I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. Probably not.
But this is, so here, I think it's important to point out that in verse 7, because I'm going to read again, starting from verse 6, for among them are those who make their way into households and captivate silly women.
Right, not the serious ones.
These are the silly women.
Okay.
The silly women are overwhelmed by their sins and swayed by
Oh.
all kinds of desires, who are always being instructed and can never arrive at a knowledge of the truth. This is the silly women.
Hold on. So he's in the first one, he's talking about the evil men, and he's implying that verse 7 is also about these evil men, but it's not.
I think so, because it continues. Let's because he then goes. He's then
Oh,
the first one is from
this
verse
is a
16,
Trojan
right?
source from the Bible.
Yeah.
We're taking a drink for that.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to continue on verse 8. As Janus and Jambres oppose, you know who those are, right? Those are the names that Second Temple, clever Second Temple Jewish fiction writers gave to the magicians who were in the employ of the Pharaoh at the time that Moses,
The ones who turned their
appeared
staffs
before.
into snakes,
Yeah.
and then Moses did the
Those
same thing,
guys,
but his staff
Yes.
ate the other staffs, making his staff better.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So as Janus and Jambres opposed Moses, so these people of corrupt mind and counterfeit faith also oppose the truth. But they will not make much progress because, as in the case of those two men, their folly will become plain to everyone. And now it feels like there is a transition. Now because he uses the su de. So there's a
Yeah, it means that
conjunction
there's
there.
a new kind of thought coming.
Yeah. So now you have observed my teaching, my conduct, my aim in life, my faith, my patience, my love, my steadfastness, my persecutions and suffering, the things that happened to me in Antioch, Iconium, and Lystra. What persecutions I endured.
Okay, Pseudo Paul.
Yes, yet the Lord rescued me from all of them. Indeed, all who want to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted, but wicked people and impostors will go from bad to worse, deceiving others and being deceived. So there you go. So the second statement, which is the first statement in his thing, is actually just a general description of all wicked people, but then the statement about those who are always being instructed and can never arrive at a knowledge of the truth, that's the silly women. That's the ones who are deceived. So yeah, sorry.
Weird.
But you know what, guys? I won't say it, but I'll point to the shirt.
They
Oh,
can't see it. I have you in a
Why
square
can't they
frame.
see it? Oh shoot. I
Yeah,
have a
sorry.
shirt. It's okay. But I really, really, really love the Bible. So,
All right. We're going to get a little bit more in now that we know that this is, in fact, a Trojan source, and he has, in fact, Frankenstein these verses. And then we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Paul says in chapter 3, verse 7, always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. In John 3 and verse
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. We're now jumping all the way to John. My goodness.
Verse 20, for everyone practicing evil hates the light. Why? Lest his deeds should be exposed.
Hey, man, if you publish your silly art project, that's not hiding your deeds. That's putting your deeds out in public, because that's, you notice how public and publish have the same root word? There's a reason for that. It's because the concepts are kind of connected, right? In that they're both just open for anyone to come look at. So what are you talking about?
Right?
Who's hiding things? It's not the guy publishing the art project, nor is it the guy publishing the book. I do want to hear what he says about 1 Corinthians 1:18, though.
I do, yes, definitely.
1 Corinthians 1:18, for the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. And what I tell my
I'm a little bit surprised that he read from a translation that said being saved, because most Protestants that I know of are vehemently opposed to the idea that salvation is a process that happens to Christians. And instead they're like, no, you either are or you're not. And if you're a Christian, you're saved. Whereas like non-Protestant Christians tend to be more in favor of like salvation as like a process of receiving continual grace and growing ever more and more in your Christ likeness and stuff. Whereas Protestants seem to hate that stuff.
Maybe he's a Nazarene. I
He
know
could be.
they're big into that. So,
Yeah.
but also it's so I just to the foolishness of the cross. I think it's important to point out here what the foolishness of the cross is, because Paul tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 what the foolishness of the cross is, right? The foolishness of the cross is the fact that the Jewish Messiah died.
Right. Something he was not
that's
expected to
bad.
do.
Yes, no, not at all. It's and he says it's foolishness to the Greeks, and it is a stumbling block. The actual word there is scandalizo, from which we get our
Scandal.
English word scandal, which I think is probably an appropriate understanding of what Paul's getting at here. It's scandalous to to Jewish people. That's the foolishness, is that the Messiah died at the hands of the Romans, like died in this humiliating fashion where he was, put forward as an example of treason, and on public display like that. So
Yeah.
that's the foolishness.
All right, well, we are going to take a quick intermission here after I read this super chat from Metageeky Platypus Librarian, who says for $5, if Kip really loves the Bible, he should write a book about it, just like how Answers in Genesis wrote a best-selling tome on storing eggplants in sacks with a pelagic tunicate emoji, and we will take a drink for that. Thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Okay.
And
But
time to refresh drinks.
About it.
I
I wrote a book about it. Do you see it? It's there. I wrote this book.
I need to set up like an Amazon affiliate link that goes to that book, given how many times you put it on screen. I want to get a cut.
True. No. But
what do you mean? No, you can't stop me. You literally couldn't stop me.
I guess that's fair.
It wouldn't cut into your cut. It would cut into Amazon's cut. Jeff Bezos would be the one losing money on that.
Okay. Yes. That's a good point. Okay. No, I'll allow that.
All right.
Absolutely. So.
All right. I would actually be marketing for you at that point, technically.
And I appreciate that. Always.
All right. So we're going to go on a quick intermission, and we'll be right back. Take your time to use the bathroom real quick, grab a drink, grab a snack, something like that, and we'll be right back.
If you have a copy of my book, you can take it with you to the bathroom. It's fine.
Just don't pee on it. Or do. It's your copy. I don't care. And we are back. I did miss a membership chat from Fits of Rage, who's been a member for 29 months and is at the amniote level, who said, my software team was unfortunately not amenable to my suggestion that we use the NRSV method of versioning our products with a Godzilla and a Carmen, and we will take a drink. And I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure that the software version just going from whatever it's called to updated edition would have been great. Maybe Bible versions should just start getting numbers, right? Like, this is NIV 1.2.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now that we're back, I will go through the quick commercial bit, which is to say, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who is so generous that helps keep this channel afloat. Without you guys, it just wouldn't work. I do 3, sometimes 4, sometimes more shows a week. Very rarely more than 4. In fact, rarely 4, but still, it's almost always 3 at least. And I spend hours and hours and hours each day doing things like scripting, editing, researching new topics, finding new things to cover and stuff like that. And that's only possible because you guys are able to help me pay my bills. And so if you enjoy what this channel does and you want to see us keep going and you can afford to, please consider checking out the Patreon. It's linked in the description. It starts at $1 a month. You can go all the way up to like $100 a month if you want to. There is a 15% discount if you pledge annually. There's also the channel memberships that starts at $1.99 a month. There are also higher tiers for that. Both of them give you access to my Discord server. They both give you early access to my scripted videos. One came out this week. I'm hoping to get 2 out next week. I already have 2 of them animated, and I have one of them with the animation compiled into a video file ready to edit. So that will be hopefully rapid fire right there. So there, it gets you that. It also just helps out. And if that's not your thing, there's also always the super chats, super stickers, super thanks, gifting memberships. I really like gifted memberships because 1, I drink for each one. So if you want me to take 5 or 10 drinks, gift 5 or 10 memberships. And also it lets other people who don't currently have a chance to see what it's like in the Discord server or early access to just get a chance to experience those. And maybe if they like it enough, they'll, join on their own with a renewing subscription. So, yeah. And if you would like to help, but you don't want to send any money, there's also rendering for me. I currently have a bunch of frames up on my render farm. And the way this works is you go to the description, check out the section, how to render for me, go to that website, download the client appropriate to your operating system, use my login credentials, and then you will either render my frames, in which case that just directly gets my frames out faster, or you will render frames for other people, which gets me points, and how many points I have determines how high in the queue my frames are for other people who aren't me to render. So yeah, again, thank you so much because you guys are already extremely generous. And I think that we're going to continue on. And it looks like you're not going to be unleashed today because we still need, what is it, like 36 super chats or something?
That's terrible. And I can't even, because it's out of frame, I can't just keep pointing to the shirt either. That's bad.
I mean, I could make you really tiny and give you bars at the top and bottom, but then I think the text would be illegible anyway. So okay, catch 22, right?
Fine, everyone.
Yeah, sorry. You should have just worn it because then you could have just stood up a little bit and picked up your shirt.
Right, I could have. I should have just worn it. Instead, I'm wearing a shirt that says "I used to be fun," which is my kids gave this to me. So.
Oh, that's very nice of them. Very appropriate.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I once gave my dad a shirt that said 4 out of 3 people do not understand fractions because he was a math teacher. He really liked that.
That's good.
So
yeah, I bet he did. Was it written like a fraction?
Yes.
Okay.
My kids sometimes, before we get mad and angry and frustrated at these people teaching all these erroneous doctrines and doing all this evil in the world.
People.
I love all this evil in the world, which is just like teaching basic biology, which, to be fair, given the Christian, well, not the Christian, but given the evangelical stance on sex ed, maybe teaching basic biology is evil, according to these people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know what we should really do? We should feel sorry for them. These guys that are
I wish
convincing all these
children.
children.
That's all they would do.
Yeah, it would be a lot nicer instead of doing things like taking away people's rights, restricting healthcare, voting for people that then go on to have people shoot people in the face for the crime of what was it again? Driving away. Right. For the crime of driving away, you can now get shot in the face. Yep.
Please. You could improve so much by just feeling sorry for us.
Mm-hmm. In fact, if you were to go away, like Jesus says, and go into your room and pray, and just do that, I would love that. Because whether or not it works, you would at least not be actively harming people while you did it.
That we just evolved from bacteria and that there is no God. One day,
I want to point out that nothing about evolution precludes the existence of a god, and that many, many, many theists are also people who do not deny the science around evolution or the origin of life or any of those things. I don't have
fair. It's probably fair to say that most Christians
probably. I used to say
except on some level.
Yeah. I used to say that it was the majority of them, and my basis for that was that the majority of Christians belong to churches that have said that evolution is perfectly compatible with evolution. Yeah. But it was pointed out to me that technically you can also not be someone who accepts evolution and be like a Catholic or an Anglican or whatever. And that unless I actually have polls indicating that it's the majority, I can't actually say that that's what's the case. But I do think it's fair to say it's probably the case, or at least I suspect it's the case based on what I see around those churches and their numbers, but I cannot currently say it for sure or with high confidence.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think the same can also be said in reverse too, right? Maybe less confidently you could be a member at a church that rejects, officially rejects evolution without ever even knowing it.
I mean, I was as a kid when I was in high school.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, they're going to stand before God in judgment, and they're going to give an answer.
Look, I would love it if at some point in the distant future, the resurrection happens and God says, "Hey, Dapper, did you teach people science?" And then I will just say, "Yes, actually, I did, God."
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the reaction will be. Presumably, if God is a just being, then he'll say, "Yeah, good job."
Good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dutch Tunicate official.
That's just the teaching about how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You would hope that God would be in favor of such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if he weren't, then I feel like the omnibenevolent thing is right out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, it's like a Lovecraftian thing where like there are some secrets to the universe that humans were never meant to know, and it's not actually safe for humans to know them. And by revealing them, I'm actually harming the entire human race.
In some ways, that's more fun. But much more dystopian.
I feel kind of dystopian at the moment, so like maybe that's what the deal is. Look, there's a reason that I've been getting more and more back into 40K than I was just a few years ago. And it's because I'm just like, everything feels dystopian, so I'll just go with a fun dystopia.
That's good.
Dutch Tunicate official for $5 says, "Our ancestor with bacteria lived like 4 billion years ago. I hate that we evolved from bacteria line so much." No, you're absolutely right. It's not really accurate. And yeah. In fact, you could make better. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, can someone explain this super chat to me, because I'm not following everything here.
So, humans didn't evolve from bacteria. Humans and bacteria share a common ancestor about 4-ish billion years ago, and that ancestor itself was not a bacterium, but it gave rise to both bacteria and archaea, and animals actually come out of the archaea, which is a group of mostly prokaryotic organisms, but eukaryotes are a subgroup of archaeans who themselves grew big in this lineage and then engulfed another bacterium called a rickettsia bacteria, which then became the mitochondria of the eukaryotes.
Awesome. Thank you. See, I like to think that this show is sort of like the exact opposite of the series that Erica is currently doing with Will Duffy and teaching him about evolution, where you are also teaching me things about evolution, except I know a whole lot more than Will Duffy.
Including
and
about
you
the Bible.
probably know, yes, that too. And you probably know a whole lot less than Erica. It's probably fair to say.
That depends heavily on which topic we're talking about.
Fair. That's fair.
Because I have
so-
consulted with Erica on more than one of her episodes where she's tossed it to me and said, hey, does this check out from what you know?
Hey, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Cool. But I think it's still reciprocal in the sense that now honest, I haven't watched much of the series since the first or second episode, but I also feel like maybe I'm a little bit more receptive to learning.
Well, yeah,
than Will
because
Duffy.
when I tell you about like the evolutionary history of archaea and bacteria, it doesn't immediately send you into like a fight or flight mode because I'm about to tell you something that's going to ruin your worldview and make you feel like you're betraying God.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I like learning things.
Olivia Williams for $6.99 Beaverbuck says, it reminds me of all those people saying that if we don't believe God exists, why we fight him as atheists. It's not God we fight, it's people like him. Yeah, that is another thing, is like, if atheists do not all tend to go around attacking every single person who believes in God. Like, I can't remember the last time there was like an atheist protest outside of like a Sikh Gurdwara or something, right? And the reason is because the Sikhs aren't the people who are making life harder for everyone, including the atheists. Right? Like, they're just offering up free food and having their own various services inside the Gurdwara. They're not voting for people to throw people in cages for no reason, or to shoot people in the face or the back for the crime of driving away or helping a woman whom you just pushed down up. Right? Like, that's not the people who are doing that, but the Christian nationalists, it sure is. And sure, some non-Christian nationalists sometimes catch flack from that, and that sucks, and it probably shouldn't happen, but like, world isn't perfect. Roshan for $1.99 says, Kip, look up Asgard Archaea, smart boy. That's true, you should look up the Asgard Archaea.
Oh, I'm going to do it right now.
All right, I'm going to hit play right now.
For all
Okay.
that.
Should
That
I
helps
just
me when
Google
I
it?
start-
Is that okay?
I mean, I'm avoiding Google as a result of their increasing use of AI, but I'm not going to stop you from using Google.
At least the thing that I am, at least when I do Google things, and it returns AI summaries, at least it shows me where all of those things come from still. So,
right. But did you know that it often contradicts the sources that it shows you?
Yeah,
it often says the opposite of what's in them.
Sure. That's better than not providing the sources. But I guess it's that's a good point. But this one came up with a Wikipedia article right from the hop. It says Asgard Archaea, Promethe Archaeae, previously known as superphylum Asgard or phylum Asgardarchaeota. Thank you. Yeah, my Latin is terrible. Are a kingdom belonging to the domain Archaea that contain eukaryotic signature proteins. It appears that eukaryotes, the domain that contains the animals, plants, fungi, and protists, emerged within the Promethearchaeae in a branch containing the Heimdallarchaeae. This supports the two-domain system of classification over the three-domain system. After including the kingdom category into the ICNP, you can tell me what that is, right? With the International Code of Nomenclature of Prokaryotes. Okay. The only validly published name of this group is Kingdom. I'm not going to say it again. It starts with a P. All formerly proposed phyla would be deranked into two classes in this framework. Okay.
There you go. Now you know, Kip.
Thank you. Now I know.
You will be quizzed on this at the end of the week.
We're getting frustrated
Great.
and angry at all this stuff. We should feel pity in some ways for them. Well, let's go back
But just
and
in
look at some other
ways,
examples.
right? Not in just in some ways.
Right.
You should feel
Yeah.
pity.
This is the American bison, also called the buffalo, and the domesticated cattle, which there are 800 breeds. They may have originally came from a single kind in the Garden of Eden. Why you can
Dapper.
breed them?
Yes.
Have you ever seen an actual bison?
Yes.
They're gigantic.
Yes, they are. They're much bigger than you think they are.
When you get next to a bison,
which I don't recommend you do.
no, but I mean, you can kind of do it at the zoo.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Where, so right, like, but if you do, you do have this moment, right? Of, goddamn, that is
really
much
big.
bigger.
Yeah,
much bigger.
Goop23
expected.
for $2 says, I once got AIG as a source in an AI in overview. Ooh, that's rough. That's never what you want. Yeah, that's not
terrible.
Good. All right.
And produce a beefalo. Again, it's not macroevolution, bacteria to Bob. It is microevolution.
And just as a reminder,
so
macroevolution is evolution at speciation or above, which means it is macroevolution. Go ahead, Kip.
But am I following him correctly? He's saying that because they bred a cow and a buffalo together, this disproves the tree of life in favor of the orchard of life.
Yeah, which seems to mean that he should think that according to evolution, any two animals should be able to interbreed. And also that claim of his, which he's now repeating, also is the context in which I taught you about the hamster, if you remember that.
Yes. Oh, so okay, so they were it was artificial. It was artificially bred.
Kind of. So it wasn't technically artificial insemination because that involves actually injecting the sperm into the ovum.
Yeah.
But in this case, the artificial part was removing the zona pellucida from the hamster ovum and then allowing the sperm to naturally fertilize the ovum.
Okay.
But in vitro, not in vivo.
Right. Same thing with the bison cow.
So the bison cow, I actually don't.
Beefalo.
So I suspect that that's artificial insemination in the sense of like taking seminal fluid from either a bull or a buffalo and inserting it into a female of the opposite species. One, you don't want to risk your breeding stock with injury in cross-species breeding experiments.
Right. Yeah.
And two, I'm not sure that they would naturally be inclined to breed anyway. So it's artificial in that sense, but that's also like how horses are bred now. Basically, domesticated horses that are captive, they just don't have sex anymore. You extract eggs from the mare that you want to breed, and then you have the stallion mount basically a giant horse sex toy and extract the fluid there, and then you combine them in vitro and then put the resulting embryos into a surrogate mare that is of lower value because the pregnancy is risky. So the mare that's actually genetically the mother is not even ever getting pregnant because you don't want to risk her. So that's a pretty common thing with large animal breeding. So I suspect that's what happens with beefalos, but I am not a beefalo rancher. So if anyone here is more familiar with beefalo ranching, feel free to chime in and let us know.
There was I noticed in the chat here that buffaloed scientist who seems like they might know what they're doing
That's
Oh,
true.
it just looks like they asked you a question. If you
Oh.
interbreed a bull and a buffalo, spelled with a couple of L's, a buffalo cow,
Right.
you get a buffalo.
Yeah, it would make sense that that's what you would get. Which I think is why they're going with beefalo, so that it's not just ambiguous. Olivia Williams, Purple Fairy Light for $2.79 Beaver Bucks says, "Poor horses." Yeah, it is. I remember when I found out that basically captive horse populations just don't actually have sex, and I was like, that seems weird and unnatural and kind of sad. Like, they don't get to, like, there's a big part of being a horse that they're just like, no, you don't get to do that.
You don't get to do that. Yeah. Never thought about it that way.
Within a kind. In fact, all 14 members of the cattle kind may have come from original cattle ancestor. Let's look at those.
Okay, I want to point something out here. The cattle kind is a weird thing because earlier he labeled these both as Bovidae, implying that Bovidae is the family. But you know what else is in Bovidae? Sheep, goats, antelopes. Those are all bovids.
Okay.
So in some cases,
part of,
sorry. Yeah, but
not
they're not
part of the cattle kind. Though.
Apparently not, because there's way more than 14 species of bovid out there. I can tell you that. In fact, I suspect that he might put the domesticated cattle from like the European stock and the zebu, which is a sort of like South and Central Asian derived cattle, in separate like groups here, even though they're actually the same species. They're just separate domestication events from the aurochs.
So all of these may not have been in the Garden of Eden. It may have been a single cattle kind. The American Bible.
Also, I love that longhorn cattle. There's something cool about longhorns.
It's true. We don't have them up here.
That's too bad.
In Canada, I mean, I think there's some, in some places they've imported them.
I mean, I'm sure that they'll survive in Canada if you just plop one down and give it enough housing.
Yeah, I think so. But they're not common.
No, I wouldn't think so. There's a reason that they're often associated with Texas. It's because that's where people grow them or raise them, I guess. Glarn Budin for $5 says, "Please tell me I didn't miss the Dinosauroids, a fun Thai dinosaur man." Funny Thai dinosaur man. You did. That was during. We spent a lot of time on there on the first hour. But hey, you know what? Just rewind to the first hour. I won't mind. Jessica the Transmetal Alchemist for $5 redo says, "The first time I ever heard someone on YouTube ever say the line giant horse sex toy." Well, I am glad that I could be the first person to do that for you. Yeah. I mean, it is true. It's a giant sleeve with like support so that the stallion can mount it. Like it's just a sex sleeve for a gigantic horse penis.
Mm-hmm.
This video is going to get some kind of community guidelines problem, isn't it?
Do you know who else had gigantic horse penises?
Is it the bit in the Bible where the woman is lusting after her lovers who have emissions like a donkey?
No, it's not, and it's not in the Bible.
Oh.
It's in the Book of Enoch.
That's technically in some Bibles.
Fair. But it's not the part you were thinking of.
Okay.
So it's in the Book of Enoch, and it's talking about the angels.
Oh, they're
giant horse penises. In fact,
I see.
I was in grad school when the movie The Watchmen came out.
Mm-hmm.
And all I could picture when I read the Book of Enoch after that was
the big rock guys?
Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, Manhattan. I was thinking the Noah movie.
You were thinking of Noah. Yeah, no, Dr. Manhattan is my, headcanon analog for the angels in the Book of Enoch.
That is an interesting headcanon. Yeah.
I do have an interesting headcanon, yes.
I will say, though, that you bringing that up does mean that there is a business opportunity out there for someone to make toys that are based around the Book of Enoch and to sell them as biblical sex toys.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ethiopian biblical sex toys. There you go. Make it even cooler.
Yeah.
So I know some of you out there have manufacturing technology that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
Bison, domesticated cattle, musk ox.
Okay, I'm going to take a drink. Muskoxen are goats. They're in a different subfamily. They're not even cattle. They're goats.
So
They're big goats with shaggy fur that live in cold places, but they're goats. They're not even in bovine. They're in ovine.
I'm just assuming that he looked at the pictures and said, these all look kind of the same.
Oh, that's absolutely what he did. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because creationism is all about the vibes, man. Does it pass the cattle vibe check? Then I guess it's a cattle, even though it's a goat. For €6, Dinosaurian Dude says Texas Longhorn are a feral cattle breed that independently evolved leptobos with hornspan. Really? I did not know that they were a feral group of cattle.
That's interesting. Wow.
Well, I learned that today. Goop23 for $5 says, I'm glad that I could be the first to say giant horse sex toy for you. I'm not. Well, you know what? Goop2, that's why I have no idea where I was going with that. Never mind. I'm still happy that I could be the one to alert you to the existence of the giant horse sex toys. For horses, not for people. Although I have a very, very strong suspicion that there are horse sex toys for people too. Because people are like that. And you know what?
People are weird.
As long as you're safe, have fun with it.
Yes.
Cape buffalo. On some of the Amish and Mennonite farms we hunt on years ago, they had many more of these Holstein bulls, and sometimes.
So just other domesticated cattle? Is that what you're going with? Okay.
Why did he bring that up in the context of the Cape buffalo?
I don't know. I think he's just counting different breeds of cattle as different group members of the cattle kind, which there's a lot more than 14 breed. Honestly, I couldn't tell you why he's bringing it up. It's possible that it just popped into his mind like free word association. Okay. Dark Law Dragon, who's been a member for 47 months and is at the tetrapod level, sends Godzilla Mothra Ghidorah. There we go. Drink AIG, and we'll take a drink. Thank you very much. Olivia Williams, Purple Fairy for $2.79 beaver bucks says, don't Google Bad Dragon toys. Or just don't do it on your work computer. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Just don't do it on your work computer. Yep. Unless you, like me, have a work computer that isn't owned by anyone other than you. I can Google whatever I want on my work computer, and my boss won't care at all.
No.
Sometimes they would chase us. And I used this picture for a long time. And I remember one time we were getting chased down by one, and its face was so scary.
Chased down by what?
A Holstein.
Did you catch that?
A Holstein. Okay. He's still telling me the Holstein story.
But he has the picture of the Cape buffalo up there and said, I used this picture.
Oh, then maybe he's talking about the Cape buffalo, and he was chased by a Cape. I don't think he was chased by a Cape buffalo. If you get chased by a Cape buffalo,
weird.
Yeah, you're probably going to die. Oh, my goodness. Dinosaurian Dude just gifted 20 memberships.
A lot.
So I'm going to have to take 20 drinks here while Kip tells you what his favorite sci-fi show is and why.
Okay. My favorite sci-fi show is the new series of Battlestar Galactica. And for various reasons. Because I thought it was brilliantly shot, written, acted, and I thought also that the story held its own for like the full 5 seasons. It was it's pretty great. I haven't watched it in a little while, but I used to watch it almost every year. So it's really good.
I still have 5 more to take, but I'm pouring my next drink, so you're going to have to keep going a little bit.
Oh,
talk about the Cylon fighters. I really like the Cylon fighters.
Yes, those were all, actually, that's the, I will say that the reimagination of all the Cylon stuff was pretty badass in that series. And if this is what you're getting at, Dapper, there's an especially good episode where Kara Thrace is stuck on a planet with like a Cylon ship, which has like biological componentry to it, and she has to like open
Squish
in
in
order
there.
to yeah, she's got to squish
Super
in
gross.
there with all the guts and
Yeah.
figure out how to make the thing go. It's pretty incredible.
But I
So,
also just
yeah.
like the basic concept that the fighters are their own individual Cylon
Yes,
entities with their
right?
own minds, and that when they die,
I know.
that mind also gets uploaded into the resurrection ship to get a new body so that they get better as like they progress
Yeah.
and keep flying and fighting. And I just thought that was a really cool concept. And I'm going to hit play.
Very cool.
Start thinking, you know what? That looks just like the Cape Buffalo. Both of these
Does
may
it?
have come from.
They look exactly. It looks just like it.
I don't know
That's
how
why
you
he's
say that.
telling the story
I
about
mean,
the Holstein.
they look similar in that they are two members of the same subfamily, right? So they look similar
sort
in
of
the same way
staring-
that a wolf and like a fox look similar. Sure, I guess.
Right. Like I'm looking at these two pictures that he's put up here together, and I'm like right away I'm sort of drawn to the snout, right? As
Yeah.
sort of the most obviously comparable thing. But as soon as I focus on that, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of like fundamental differences.
Yeah, the
between
horns are
the way-
almost completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the
But,
ears are
you know,
extremely
like-
different. Like,
Look at the way the nostrils sit, right? Like it just
yeah, there's a lot of differences. Like I said, these look the same in the same way that a fox and a wolf look the same, which is to say they
Yeah.
don't, but you can tell that they're obviously related.
The
Right.
original kind. Here's the auric.
It's an aurochs. The S is part of the singular form, but that's a weird word. So, however, I would say it's weird for you not to know that while also giving a talk about it.
yeah.
The last one died in 1627 in France, but this is the progenitor
Well, the last known one died. We don't actually know for certain. There could have been a wild one somewhere that we just don't know about.
to all 800 cattle. Different varieties of cattle that you see today all came from the auric. There's the wild yak in the Himalayas. Now, to show that these animals can interbreed, if you can cross a
He is an impressive looking guy.
I like
That's,
that poof on the tail. That's very nice.
I know, me too, right? Like that
Yeah.
is yeah.
It's like he's got his own built-in pom-pom.
Mm-hmm. If I were ever in the market for
For cattle,
a bovine of any
Yeah.
kind, this would be my choice. Yeah.
that's fair. I would choose perhaps something a little bit smaller and less pokey. But you know what? I will say this.
I would train mine
Mhm.
to poke at only evil.
Oh, okay. Also, it would be a great like accompaniment for your yurt.
Yes, it would.
So get it with a yurt, and you are set. All right. Dinosaurian Dude for €6 says, Guthic Gibbon said it best. Their method is eyeballing it. No scientific method
Yeah.
whatsoever. It's true. Yeah. She is correct
Yeah.
about that. In fact, they actually have an official name for that technique. Creationists call it the cognitum, which is like you just look at organisms and you kind of know that they're basically the same kind, and so you just put them in the same kind, and they call it the cognitum. That's an official technical term. Yeah, the cognitum. Because if you make it Latin, it sounds less bullshitty than just saying, well, it passed the vibe check. Because that's what they actually mean, is it passed the vibe check.
Since I understand enough Latin to know what cognitum means, that still sounds like bullshit.
I know,
So-
but their target audience isn't you. Their target audience is people who don't know enough Latin to know what that means.
Wow. It just
All right.
feels like this is something somebody could simply intuit.
Yep. Which is not how science works, by the way.
True.
All right, here we go.
wild yak with domesticated cattle and produce yaddle. You can also
Neat.
cross the wild yak with the bison or buffalo and produce yakalo. Some of the other
Okay.
All right.
That animal on the left looks familiar to me, and I feel like it's not a hybrid, but that's like a vibe I'm getting. And so I'm not sure that that's the case, because unlike creationists, I'm not just going to accept all my vibes as the gospel truth. But that looks really familiar as like a different thing. But I don't know.
other ones are the Asian banting, the Southeastern Asian gray ox, the Indian bison. Now you can compare that to the European bison, but you can see there are some differences, but they may have come from the same kind.
Yeah, man, no one is disputing that all bovines have a common ancestor. So like pointing out that that's the case doesn't really help, right? Because no one's disputing that. You got to get to the, how do we know that the bovines aren't related to the ovines, say, which are like the goats and sheep, which is a little bit of a problem because you already included an ovine in your list of cattle. So like, I don't know what we're doing. Dinosaurian dude for €2 says it's given cattle talking, by the way, or talking. Oh, is that what that animal was? Was it a talking? Okay, hold on. Now I have to go image search talking.
The one that you were questioning.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it was attacking or talking. I'm not positive the pronunciation. Yeah, which is its own species, Budorcus taxicolor, and it was a juvenile talking. Yep. Okay, I was right. I had it in the back of my mind. I'm like, that looks familiar to me. I don't know exactly what it is, but I feel like it's not a crossbreed between a freaking yak and a cattle, or like a domesticated cattle. Oh, you know what? We're going to take a drink for confirmed prediction. That counts as a confirmed prediction there.
I concur.
Attack it. Yep. Dutch Tunicate official for $2 says you cannot cross yak and muskox. I wonder why. Yeah, because they're not in the same subfamily. Because one's a goat. Stephen G. Cleaner for $5 says cross an elephant with a rhino or elephino or GTFO for an elephino or GTFO. Yeah, elephino. Yep. Kip, do you know about the crossbreeds between bulldogs and Shih Tzus?
No, I don't actually.
Oh, well, you'll just have to think about the hybrid name, and also watch Dumb and Dumber.
There's the wild water buffalo, the Mandora dwarf buffalo.
Oh, it's a different water buffalo. Never mind. I was confused for a second. There we go. Okay. Yep.
I'm probably
The Indonesian lowland anoa and Indonesian mountain anoa. But I want to go back.
Okay, so we didn't even get to the takin as an actual animal that he listed. So we didn't get to all the different bovines, but we did include an ovine in the bovine list. So that's fun. Imagine just not even checking, right? Like, the same thing happened with Will in the last, or it might not have been the last, might have been the one before that, talk with Erica, where he's like, well, sometimes evolutionists have no idea what to do. Look at this flying lemur. And it's like, are you kidding me? You could have just checked, Will. You could have just checked. You could have gone, typed in Colugo or flying lemur, and then just seen, hey, do scientists have an idea as to what these are? Are they primates? Are they bats? And the answer is no. And instead, he's just like, well, no, it's confusing. Sure, if you don't bother to learn anything, it's confusing. Sorry, I've been losing patience with that man lately.
Does he talk a fair bit about the Bible in those shows?
Not terribly much that I remember.
Okay.
I have heard that he allegedly says he does not like the term Bible, and he is also not an inerrantist. So, like, take that for what it will. I then would say,
doesn't like the term.
Yeah, my
Bible.
question would be, well, what would he prefer that collection of texts be called? And I don't know the answer to that. Although
That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's just what we call that group of texts. Although exactly which group of texts we mean is sometimes ambiguous, because, like, different groups have slightly different canons. So
Back to this auric.
He probably would prefer scripture.
I mean, sure, fine, but like, good luck changing that.
Yeah.
all 800 varieties of cattle came from. There may be some cattle people here in the audience that know about cattle tonight. Now,
cattle people like the Dinosauroid. Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, I'm picturing minotaurs in the audience.
Exactly what
Yep. There's people with bull heads just sitting in the audience, ready to devour anyone who gets lost in their labyrinth. Which is one question. How does the human bull hybrid become like a flesh-eating monster? Like, shouldn't it eat grass? Like,
true.
what's going on here? Was it a flesh-eating bull?
Man, what was it called? It had Jeff. I gotta look this up now. Because I can't remember what the name of the series is. But it's Chaos. Did you ever watch Chaos? Kaos.
That does not sound familiar.
It's really good. I really like this one. It's kind of a reimagination of a lot of Greek mythology, but set in like now, like in current day, like modern times.
Got it.
And Jeff Goldblum plays Zeus. But no, So a big chunk of the story is about the Minotaur, and who got stuck in the maze with the Minotaur?
A lot of people.
Yeah, but there was the person who got out. There's only one person who got out, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, Chaos is really good. Kaos. People should watch it. Why wouldn't you want to see Jeff Goldblum playing Zeus? Why?
I don't know. Metageeky Platypus Librarian for $2 says Minotaurs tend to Sufi and Shinto practices. I did not know that about them. That seems surprising given that they're from Crete, which is not particularly close to anything to do with Sufi or Shinto, and also that those are two very different things, but hey, what do I know? I'm not an expert on Minotaurs. Unlike Kip, apparently.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
Look at these cattle. The oryx genes are spread out in all the cattle.
The genes are spread out.
What is that?
All the cattle.
What does that mean? The genes are spread out in all the cattle.
Oryx genes.
I mean, I would expect that all cattle would have all of the oryx genes, minus maybe a few.
Right?
Like,
that's what I'm picturing. I'm like picturing here's the genes for the oryx, and we're just gonna just distribute them. Like,
okay, so these are all members of the same species, and as a rule, members of the same species tend to have the exact same numbers and types of genes in the exact same spots, with very few exceptions. So, like, I would expect that virtually every gene in an aurochs would be also in every single domesticated cattle, and vice versa, with only minor exceptions. So, like, what is it? What does that mean? Guys, if you're in the chat right now, or if you're watching this later and we're no longer live, and you can comment, put in the comments or in the chat, what do you think that means? What does it mean for the genes to be spread out among the domesticated cattle?
So you can never get another oryx, but could you?
I mean, technically these are all aurochs, right? Just like dogs are, in fact, wolves. They're not wild wolves, but I mean, could you recover the actual wild aurochs? Probably not directly, probably not exactly as it was. But I mean, you could also say the same thing about, like, could you ever recreate my great-great-grandparents? Well, no, but like, or we'll go with Kip. Like, could we ever recreate Kip's great-great-grandparents? No, but like, they're still humans, and Kip's a human, and presumably his offspring are human. So like, What? I don't know. So in that sense, yeah, I guess in that they're members of the same species.
Try to recreate an auroch. Well, maybe you take all the cattle that have similarities with the auroch and you
Well, that would be all of them, but okay.
crossbreed them. Maybe an Angus with a Shorthorn, with a Santa Gertrudis, with a
Dinosaurian dude for €2 says he means he irons his blue pants. Maybe that's what it is. I suspect he means something else, but like the problem is that this guy doesn't know what a gene is. So whenever he talks about genes, I'm not sure what he means. And that's been something that's been a pretty consistent theme with this guy, is he just doesn't know what the word gene means.
Oh, so one of the things that I really liked about Chaos was it all takes place in Crete, and all the churches, like the modern churches in Crete, they're all like places of worship for the gods, like various gods. It's kind of cool how they've like imagined the evolution of Greek religion into the modern world. I liked it. I thought it was
now okay, but I have to ask, why are the showrunners peddling all these lies based on this imagined alternate future that is now taxpayer funded and being taught to your kids in schools?
Right.
That seems evil.
Well, I mean, all you have to do, Dapper, is go back and read 2 Timothy chapter 3.
Right, and then we will find out that, in fact, these guys are the silly women who have been led astray. Okay.
That's it. Yes.
All right.
Master, etc. Well, this is just what a Dutch backbreeding project did. And they tried to recreate this from all the different cattle kind. But the problem is it's not creating anything new.
Were they trying to create anything new? It seems like they were trying to recreate something old. So I don't.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear him out. Let's let him finish the sentence.
All the genes were there to begin with.
Yeah, of course they were. Because overall, members of the same species all have the same genes. Otherwise, they couldn't successfully breed together, right? Like, what do you mean? Of course, they all have the same genes. What? I'm taking a drink. I can't even figure out what the argument is supposed to be.
It's not creating anything new.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness!
Evolutionists say a single.
Oh my goodness!
Kind.
I clicked the wrong
bison,
spot.
Domestic
Did you just?
battery kind.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's not creating anything new. All the genes were there to begin with.
Okay, but also, like, domesticated cattle have alleles that were not in aurochs. So, like, and I'm sure that some alleles that were in the aurochs have gone extinct. So there is new stuff in domesticated cattle. So it's not genes, to be fair, most likely. Although there might be a few new genes there here and there. I don't know. This is a very, very confusing speech. And I think the problem is that this guy does not know what he's talking about and is trying to give a talk on a very technical aspect of biology that he does not understand at like a high school level, right? Because I was in high school when I learned about terms like trait, allele, gene, phenotype, genotype. So this guy he would fail a high school genetics test, right? Like if you went to high school biology and you gave him a test on the genetics section, he would fail. I want to see this guy fill in a Punnett square. I think that will be a fun project for him to fill in a Punnett square. All right. I'm going to hit play.
Not creating anything new. Finally, here is a very interesting one, the camel and the llama. What's interesting about the camel and the llama is that the evolutionists say that these animals have been separated over 7,500 miles.
Okay. I mean, I don't think that's what the evolutionists say. I think that's just what maps say.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Like, is the globe Earth an evolutionist conspiracy? Is this guy a flat earther? What's going on here? Also, I like how he's pointing to the Middle East when in fact camels exist across much of like West and Central Asia. So like you could point to a whole swath of Asia, but sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Is he's kind of, I mean, the arrow is kind of pointing to the Caucasus.
That's true, but I guess I'm going with like where the center of the picture is.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
I mean,
it's probably not that
the
deep.
llama would then be located in the Pacific Ocean, wouldn't it?
I guess that's true, yeah. You know what? He's probably not being super careful with the placement. Okay, fine.
Oh, for 11 to 25 million years. And they also say because of geographical separation and inbreeding, they should no longer be able to inbreed after 11 to 25 million years. Guess
do you have a
because
citation?
Of geographical separation and
Do
inbreeding.
you have a citation for that? Because members of the genus Canis have diverged in around that same time frame, around 11,000 years. And I don't know of any evolutionists who's saying that like they shouldn't be able to breed. Also, it's actually not the case that they can just breed. You have to, like help them along with this. This is an artificial thing that they do. So in terms of like, if you just let them loose together in the same environment, would they create hybrid populations? The answer is no.
Almost certainly no, right? Yeah.
Right.
what? They can still interbreed. You can cross a camel and a llama and produce a comma.
Oh, okay. Goop23 for $2 says evolutionists claim Paris is the capital of France. Right. I mean, to be fair, it is true. Those people who accept evolution, they also tend to accept that Paris is the capital of France.
Lots of people are yes.
Yeah.
And that demonstrates that these animals have not been separated for 11 to 25 million years.
Does it demonstrate that? Because it doesn't to me, because the rate of reproductive isolation is not the same across all of life, and there's no one rate at which it happens. Right? So because they're located far away from each other, evolution is not true. That's it. That's the argument, basically, right? Well, because according to him, evolutionists say they shouldn't be able to produce offspring, but they can. But I also don't know where he's getting the idea that the evolutionists said they couldn't. Like, he just asserted that. But he also earlier said that musk oxen were cattle when they're goats. So, like, I don't take his word for things, right? He also did recently seem to lie about what the Bible said, which, as a guy giving a sermon in a church, seems like a bad move.
Feels bad. Yeah. It's like
not what you want from your pastor. Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, we are going to start wrapping things up here because it is already only 4 minutes to the hour. So, Kip, go fast. What do you got?
Okay. Not a lot because I'm moving. So I will be tonight. I do have a new episode of Budget Scripture Saturday on the schedule with Ninny and Dr. Tapioca Weasel, as far as I know. They will both be there. And then on Thursday, Vish will be joining me to read the second half of Zechariah chapter 6 in Hebrew. And guys, I don't know. I haven't read Zechariah in a long time. And when I went back to read it again, I was like, wow, this stuff is batshit crazy. It's a fever dream. And it's fun. So there's that on Thursday. And then she will be back with me on Friday to continue showing how stupid Michael Jones from Inspiring Philosophy is and how much stuff he gets wrong about the conquest narratives and the settlement of Canaan in the at the end of the Bronze Age and the beginning of the Iron Age. But then after that, I might not be streaming a lot until after I've moved and resettled in early August, mid-August. So yeah, so it's things are kind of quietening up Is that a thing?
I think it's
they're
quietening down.
quieting down. Thank you for me over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. So over here on this channel, the plan is that on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, what is that, 9 p.m. Eastern? Yep, that's it. We will be doing Tisdall Tuesday. So that'll be with Chesh. And so, yeah, come check that out. That should be fun. Then on Thursday at noon Pacific, we are having the start of a new series, Georgia on Genetics, about Georgia Purdom of Answers in Genesis.
Whoa. Wow.
Yep. And that's actually, so sure.
Is that
Yes?
just you, or is someone joining you for that?
I mean, it's just me. It's a scripted series.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, okay. It's a
Yeah.
scripted series.
so Dr. Georgia Purdom is in fact a PhD geneticist, which means that she gets no excuses for when she gets things wrong about genetics, because she has the training to know better. So that one, I believe, because people often ask, that'll be 58 minutes and 37 seconds. So it's about an hour, that episode. So then on Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, the next episode of Star Trek Endurance should be coming out on Top Hats Off. That will be titled The Time Machine. So tune in for that if you like watching us play Star Trek Adventures, first edition, because I'm not switching editions in the middle of a campaign. Let's see. Then on Saturday, the plan is to be back, and we will hear more about the comma. And also probably other things too, because I don't think he's going to talk about the comma for the next 25 minutes. That seems unlikely. So there you go.
Rosina
Sorry?
Sorry, I was just going to say, Rosina has asked where I'm moving to. Just another place. I'm selling my house, so still looking. Actually, I've secured housing, but I feel like I can still find something better than what I got. So, not entirely sure where I'm going yet, but it will still be in town here. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, I think we are done here. I want to say thank you very much to everyone who is watching or who will be watching in the future. If you are interested, we're going to be watching some Star Trek Enterprise over in Discord. So if you want to join for that watch party, we're going to watch 2 episodes. Come hang out for that. I may be on the channel for Cozy Cats Games later on today, but I'm not positive. So I have to double check about that. Other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there. And of course, ICE must be abolished. Hey, before you leave, I just want to take a second to thank my patrons and channel members, especially those pledging $20 or above. Ben Tovand, Tapioca Weasel, The Plastic Mouse, Mikhail Dominiak, Sphincter of Doom, Regios, Landon Knoll, Eleron Teller, Phil Rivera, David Hercules, Joshua Geese, Dan Sheedy, Pegajace, Arrow Dodger, Gordon Love Science, Ember Athelian, Prixie Purple, Agricola Sequa, Me, Myself, and I, Ian Kiambi, Kenneth Swenson, Max Cherry, and John Ackerman. It's because of my channel members and patrons whom you're seeing on screen that this channel can stay afloat. Without you, it would all shut down. If you want to join the team, there's a link to join the channel below this video, and there's a link to join the Patreon in the description. On the Patreon, you can get a 15% discount for pledging annually, and either way, you get early access to virtually all of my scripted videos months before they come out for the general public. Thanks for watching.